Good evening, each and everyone. Uh, First of all, thanks for joining the call. I know on a Thursday evening you will be busy with a lot of things, but you took time to join this session to know more about will and trust. Right? We all, most of us, I know, we all came from India. We left our parents, we left our friends. One of the main reasons is we want to build wealth. We want to basically uh, create a better lifestyle for our family. We want to support our parents. So for so many reasons we came here. We are so busy with jobs, activities. We are so busy in building wealth, right? But one thing which we all are forgetting is uh, preserving wealth is also equally important. Not just building wealth, but also making sure that we are mitigating any risks of that whatever hard work we are putting in day out. We have to preserve that wealth so that in case of any issues, there should not be any problem to the wealth which we are building up. So one of the important ways to preserve wealth is will and trust. And Mark from Netla, Vice President of Netla, he's a subject matter expert. He supported our community in multiple sessions last year. So again, I requested Mark, and he immediately accepted to share about the importance of will and trust, and also about net law information to all our community. So thanks, Mark, for accepting the request. And yeah, court is yours, Mark.
Okay, Kishore, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mark.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was muted, so sorry about that. But thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Like Kishore said, we're going to talk about estate planning and what that entails. And, as he said, with a lot of you being on this webinar that's from India, everyone thinks that the way that India works with their estate planning, it's the same way that the US works, and it couldn't be any more different. With India, it's a lot easier. You just pass everything down to your spouse or the next generation, but not here in America. We're a land of bureaucrats. So there is a lot of steps that you have to go through if you don't plan for your death accordingly. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I'm going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to talk about estate planning and then answer any questions that you have about it. A lot of people think that estate planning is really hard. It's not. It's very easy. And this is a program that's very easy to accomplish. So let's get started. So what is NetLaw? NetLaw is the company that I represent. We're a technology company that was created out of an estate planning law office firm in Louisville, Kentucky. That's where I'm from. And at the law office, what we do is we serve wealth clients. So what that means is you got to have a lot of money. You come in and talk to one of our attorneys, and you walk out with your estate planning documents, which is great. You went to an attorney, you got everything completed, done, you're done. But the thing is, you paid a lot of money for it when you didn't have to. The problem with serving only wealth clients is we only served about 1% of the population, right? So there's 99% of the population out there that need estate planning that for whatever reason, they don't want to go to an attorney, whether they don't know one, they can't afford one. If you're a millennial, millennials definitely don't want to go to an attorney. They have technology, right? They have everything on their phone. And that's exactly why we created NetLaw. NetLaw is an online estate planning tool. We're not a law office, even though we have attorneys from all 50 states on our network. So what we did is we worked with each attorney in each state to come up with state-specific documents that you can do on your phone or your computer. It's the same exact documents you would get if you went to an attorney's office. Because remember, we worked with attorneys in each state to create a template that helps you create your estate plan. So leading estate planning attorneys in each state created our templates. And in 2012, we won the James Keene Award from the American Bar Association for having the best online delivery of legal documents. So what does that mean? Companies like us that you've heard of a million times, LegalZoom, Lawyer, right? Companies that spend millions and millions of dollars on advertising have not won this award. We're the only one in the estate planning world that has won this. So if you're an online company like we are and you want to win an award from the American Bar Association, this is the award you want to win. So it's very humbling to win that award. And it just kind of put us in the right direction of, you know what, we are doing something right. We're taking this out to the masses instead of having people come into our brick and mortar law office, right? Now we are able to take this service and go out to the masses because technology is everywhere. And that's where we want to be. We want it to be everywhere, not just locked up in Louisville, Kentucky. Let's take a little bit of what we offer. We offer 5 main packages, but the main one that I'm going to talk about tonight is the $600 package, this number 2. 95% of what we sell is in this column right here. This is your full premium probate avoidance package. And this covers everything for $600. It covers your will that comes with a children's trust, a financial power of attorney, 3 healthcare documents, a pet trust, a revocable living trust, a life vault. The spouse's plan is included. So for $600, you're getting 2 full sets of documents. And we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. I want to take a little bit of time here to run down each one of these so you have a full understanding of what you're getting in this package. Because this package through our law firm in Louisville, Kentucky is around $3,500. So what does that mean? In Louisville, Kentucky, you're going to pay $3,500 for these same documents. Now, can you imagine what you're going to pay in Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Dallas? It's going to be a lot more. Houston, you're going to pay a lot more than probably the $3,500 that you pay in Louisville. But let's take it line by line here and go through each of the documents, and I'll kind of give you a reason of why you need these documents. The last will and testament, right? Everyone knows that you need a will. And why? Because you want to protect your assets. You want to protect your kids, your family. This is what a will does. It provides an executor, someone who's going to be in charge to handle things when you pass away. Who's the person in charge? If you don't name that, then there's going to be chaos because everyone in the family is going to come in and try and take over. The reason you do estate planning is to stop all the fighting after you've passed away. Because the number one reason you do this is to say, hey, I've already decided where my assets are going. Who's going to take care of my kids? I've already decided it. So there is no infighting. Families can't come in and argue over assets because you've already done that in the will. And that's exactly what the will does. It names someone who's going to be in charge, and it lets you know where your assets are going when you pass away. In the will, there's a children's trust. If you have children under the age of 18 and you pass away, you and your spouse pass away, do you want all of those assets to be given to your child at 18? I know I don't, because I know what would happen. They're not mature enough to go ahead and handle that responsibility of getting that many assets. It may be $400,000 or $500,000. You know, kids aren't mature enough yet to handle that. So the children's trust says, hey, you can give a little bit of it to them at 18, maybe a little bit at 21, a little bit at 25, and the rest at 30. It divvies out at a time period of your choosing so they don't get it all at once. Now, if you choose, you can give it to them all at 18. But the children's trust comes in, even when you're gone, you're still protecting the children from financial decisions. The durable financial power of attorney. Everyone knows what that is, right? It's just your power of attorney. Who's going to make your financial decisions for you if you're unable to do so for yourself? Real easy. You go in and you just name someone that's going to have that responsibility. I'm going to skip down to the revocable living trust because that's the last financial document that we're going to talk about. Everyone likes to put the will and trust together as if it's one document. It's two totally separate documents that do two totally different things. I talked about the will being where you name an executor, where your assets are going, who's going to take care of your kids, right? That's what the will does. The trust is a holding document. It's where we put our major assets, homes, boats, vacation homes, bank accounts. It's where we designate those into the trust to avoid probate. If anybody's been through probate, they know how expensive it is, right? Probate is very expensive because you have to go to court, you have to hire an attorney. And if you don't know what probate is where the government comes in and freezes all of your assets. That gives time for creditors to come in and take what's owed to them. And then the rest is passed on to your executor or to your beneficiaries. As you can tell with this package, any asset that you have in our trust is distributed to your beneficiaries right away. It avoids the probate process. So important. So those four documents are your financial. The will that comes with the children's trust, the power of attorney, and the revocable living trust. Now let's talk about healthcare decisions, right? Because a lot of people assume estate planning is for when you die. But what happens if you don't die, right? As a generation, we're living longer. So what does that mean? We're going to deal with more hospital visits. We're going to deal with Alzheimer's, dementia. So we need someone that we name that's going to take care of us if we're in the hospital, if we're in hospice, right? Who's going to take care of these healthcare decisions? A healthcare surrogate is just like your financial power of attorney, but for medical decisions. You just name someone who's going to make your healthcare decisions for you if you're unable to do so for yourself. This plan also comes with the HIPAA authorization, right? It gives a person the ability to see your medical charts, talk with doctors, insurance companies on your behalf. And lastly, the advance directive. It's your end of life decisions. Do you want to be fed nutrition? Do you want to be hooked up to machines and live as long as possible? Or when it's time, do you just want to pass naturally? It's your decision and you need to make it. If you don't make that decision, remember the hospital's job is to keep you alive as long as possible. That's their moral obligation. So you can see how important, not just your financial documents, but your medical decisions, right? We need to make these medical decisions so that your son, your daughter doesn't have to decide if it's time to pull the plug on mom and dad. Nobody has to, nobody needs or wants to make that decision. That's why we go ahead and we pre-plan this so that no one has to make that decision, because it's one of the hardest decisions you'll ever have to make. The plan comes with a pet trust. So if you pass away, who's going to take care of your dog or cat, right? And you can leave money behind for that person because let's face it, an animal is just like taking on a kid. You've got food, you've got vet bills. It's very expensive. And you can leave a certain amount of money behind to take care of that animal when you pass on. So all of those documents are included for both husband and wife for $600. And it comes with a life vault. Let's talk about the life vault now. This is something that's included in your net law plan. And it's a storage place where you can keep all of your important documents, not just your documents, but life insurance policies, titles to cars, deeds to houses, passports, pictures, videos, anything that you want to upload and save into that vault, you can do so. It has 100 gigabytes of storage, or of data, so you should never run out of storage ever. That is a lot of storage. And like I said, it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you try it, as long as you don't download any documents, go through the system, If you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. But I can tell you, there's not too many people that do it. Once you go through this program, you will see how easy it is to use. And the money that you're going to save off of this, it's well worth it. So just real quickly, that was the $600 plan. The only difference between the $600 and $400 plan that's to the left of that is that the $400 plan doesn't include the trust. So maybe you already have a trust and you just need the other documents. You just need the $400 plan. We have the Island at $750. It's an irrevocable life insurance trust. So if you have a lot of life insurance, you can put that life insurance policies into this trust. And it does help save on taxes for the beneficiary when you pass away. And the $299 packages, I like to call them the starter packages. If you're 18, 19 years old, remember, you're a legal adult. So you can't have your parents make your decisions for you anymore. So if you don't have the money to buy the $600 plan, you can just start out with the financial power of attorney and the 3 healthcare documents for $99. The only difference is in the student package, it does come with a FERPA consent form. That's for colleges. And it gives the parents the ability to talk to the college for any reason that they need to. So those are the 5 packages that we offer. Remember, we're not LegalZoom or LegalShield. We don't get into all the other stuff that they offer. We only concentrate on estate planning and making sure that you have the end-of-life documents that are necessary for every American. Every plan here has the price tag, right? $600 is the one that we talked about the most. That's for 1 year. After the first year, if you want to continue the plan, it's $8 a month after that. That is optional. You can do the plan and cancel. Everything that you have in your vault after the first year is still yours. You can get into it and print out anything in your vault that you need. It's always going to be there for you. But if you cancel, you do lose the ability to go in and edit any documents. Because remember, all of these documents are revocable. So you can go in and change them at any time. And I'm going to talk about that on the next slide and why it's so important. But $8 a month after the first year to keep your account open and active. And here's why you want to do that. I created this chart to kind of give you a reason of why you would ever need to change documents. Let's talk about the first one at the top, change in marital status, right? Remember I said that the plans always included your spouse. But what happens if you're not married, right? You get this for yourself. 5 years later, you get married. You can add your spouse absolutely free as long as you're paying the $8 a month after the first year. Or the opposite. You buy it now with your spouse, and 5 years later, you get divorced. Well, you probably don't want your spouse making your healthcare decisions for you after you're divorced. So, good idea to go ahead and make that change and take that person out. And you can read through some of these. I'm just going to pick a couple of them just to kind of bring home the point of why $8 a month is nothing compared to the ability to go in and change your documents at any time. How about relocation to a new state? That's an important one. Let's say you're in Texas and you get a new job in Louisiana, right? If you didn't have the net law plan, well, you're going to have to start over. You're going to have to go see a Louisiana attorney and get your documents done again because now you don't live in Texas. You live in Louisiana. With the net law plan, all you have to do is go in, change your address in the system, and reassemble your documents. It's going to reassemble your documents from your Texas documents to your Louisiana documents. All you have to do is print them out and get them re-witnessed and notarized. Now, how much have you saved? How about my child turning 18? We hit on this just a little bit when I was going through the program. Remember, when you're 18, you're an adult. You can't live off mom and dad's plan. You need your own plan. This is why you could take your children out of your plan at any time. And it's a great Christmas present, right? Even if you're getting them the $99 plan, They're not going to get a better Christmas present than this. How about the birth of a grandchild, right? We talked about your child turning 18 and coming off your plan. But now you have a grandchild and you want to leave them something behind when you pass away. All you have to do is go in and add them. It's that easy. So you can see, just reading through these, this is exactly why you want to keep the plan open and active as long as you can, because you never know what's going to happen in life. So why isn't estate planning so important? I've talked about a couple reasons, right? I've talked about not having the family have to make those tough decisions, right? When we were talking about the healthcare documents, we were talking about why you do this, right? So all of your financial decisions are taken care of before you pass away. And that way you have time to talk to your family and say, hey, here's our decisions. When we pass away, here's what we need you to do. Here's what you're going to get. So there is no confusion. I'm going to run through the top 4. I've talked about these already, but I really kind of want to bring it home for you just to make sure you have a great understanding. The first one is, who gets your assets, right? If you don't have a will, no big deal. Wrong, right? In the U.S., if you don't have a will, the state decides who gets your assets. The state. Because if you die without a will, that's called intestate. If you have a will, you're naming your executor, who's getting your assets, and no one wants to leave those decisions up to the government, right? So having a will is very important on deciding who gets your assets. Number 2, who's going to take care of your children? Like I said, if you have children under the age of 18 and you and your spouse pass away without a will and you haven't named a guardian, again, a judge will make the decision of who's going to raise your children. And once again, I will always say that there is no place for the government to come in and make that decision. This to me is the most important reason we do a will. If you have children under the age of 18. No way am I going to let a judge come in and raise my child. And I know 99% of you feel the same way. This is why we take care of this before we pass away. You can avoid probate, right? I talked about that. You have to get a lawyer. You have to go to court. It's very expensive. And it's really easy to put your assets into the trust. It's just a couple more steps after you do your documents. We have funding instructions inside the vault system that tells you exactly how to do it. And remember, nobody wants to go through probate. That's where the court system freezes your assets and creditors come in and take what's owed to them before your assets are transferred to your beneficiaries. And it can take anywhere up from 30 to 150 days. And all that can be avoided just by having our probate avoidance trust, which is included in the $600 package. And lastly, we talked about this, your medical decisions, right? If you don't have your medical power of attorney and your living will, right? The hospitals are going to decide, who are they going to talk to? Did you want to be kept alive as long as possible, or did you just want to pass naturally? The hospital's not going to know, right? This is why we make these decisions beforehand. So those are the 4 main reasons, in my opinion, of why you need to go ahead and get this taken care of. Because it's just not like in India, where these decisions, they already know what you want. They already know that it's going to be passed down to your wife and your kids. Not here in the U.S. These decisions have to be made beforehand. So why net law, right? After going through all of this, it's personal, right? These are your decisions. They're no one else's. You need to make these decisions. Don't let the court systems come in and do it. It's conversational. I talked about this. This is something that you sit down with your family. You know, you and your spouse sit down with your family, your kids, your relatives, your friends, and say, hey, here's what we've decided to do. I want you to know beforehand so that there's no fighting, there's no confusion. We've taken care of all of this for you. It's digital. Remember, it's all a template system. It goes in, the lawyers have already done all the work, and you just fill in the blanks. And remember, since it is technology, we're open 24/7, right? As long as you can log into your account, you can go in and make changes at any time. You can add stuff to your vault. The internet's open 24/7. And done. One of the scariest stats that I can throw out is from a Bloomberg report. 60% of Americans don't have a will. And 90% don't have all the documents that we talk about in the $600 package. The great thing about NetLaw is you can get this done in 30 to 45 minutes. Both sets of documents for the spouse as well. Yours are done, your spouse's are done. And remember, you're getting this from the award-winning estate planning firm from the American Bar Association. If they gave us an award, we're doing something right. They just don't give out awards. Hopefully that woke everybody up. So this is our number. Kishore, I am done with the presentation. And let's hopefully answer a lot of questions.
Sure, Mark. And do you want to share about the special offer going on this month, Mark?
Oh, yeah, sure. So we do have a buy one, get one free. So you buy the $600 plan, and we are giving you a second one to give away to anyone of your choosing for up to a year. So you buy one, you get one to give away to someone of your choosing within a year. But you have to buy it before December 31st.
Yeah. Or basically, if there are two friends, basically one of them can buy it and the two of them can split the cost. So within $300, your family will be covered, and another $300, your friend's family will be covered.
That's correct. Yep. That's usually how people do it. They find a couple and they split that $600. So now, I mean, Kishore makes a great point. $300 now gets you all of this protection. You're never going to find that anywhere from a lawyer for that cheap. Getting the state-specific documents. State-specific documents created by an attorney. Okay. So are there any questions, Kishore, in the Q&A?
Yeah, Mark. What about the assets, bank accounts in India?
Well, if you have your bank account in India, with that being property of India, you could leave that in your will in specific bequest. So what you would do is you would put the bank account name and like the last four of the accounting number or the account number and the routing number. And then you would just name a beneficiary. So you can do that.
Hey, can I ask the question, Kishore?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, my name is Venkana Jupuri. Thanks for the information.
Sure.
I'm looking for the trust. So one question I have is, I have a home and then, I have few stock accounts, my retirement accounts, and then, few real estate partnerships.
Yeah.
So do I need to consult a attorney before using this, or do you think I would be able to do this myself with all different things I mentioned?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We have people all the time that purchase this product that own multiple houses, multiple financial assets. It's easy to do, and if you want, once you buy this, you can always reach out to us, and we can even go through that in more detail about how to fund that into your trust.
Okay. And what happens each, like, you mentioned that as I have more assets, and I'll add or I will remove and I'll change.
Mm-hmm.
Each time I update this one, do you register this with someone, or do we need to go and meet a judge or somebody? What happens?
No, all you have to do, once you make any change to any documents, you will need to print them out and get them witnessed and notarized. That's what you need to do.
Okay. But then when I do this for the first time, say like, I sign up and then,
Mm-hmm.
I fill all these documents. Do I need to print them, and do I need to get them notarized
Mm-hmm.
as well? Or
That's right. Yeah, definitely. That's what makes them a legal document, by printing them out and getting them witnessed and notarized.
So, and what is the process? So I filled it and I printed it, I got them notarized. Then do I need to give it to you, or do I need to go and meet someone?
No. Once you get them witnessed and notarized, then you're ready to go ahead and fund your trust. And remember, we have the funding instructions in the vault, or you can give us a call and we'll walk you through everything.
When you say fund the trust, what does that mean?
Fund the trust means putting the assets into the trust. So example, let's just say you own a property, your property that you live in. All you have to do to put that property in the trust is take a copy of our trust and the deed to your house down to the county clerk's office. And they're going to take the deed, they're going to create a new deed that has the property being owned by the trust, not you. But remember, you are the trustee of your account for as long as you're alive. So you still have all the authority, all the power. You can buy and sell that house at any time.
Okay. And thank you. What happens with my bank accounts? Right now it's with me and my wife's name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you wanted to put your bank account in the trust, what you would do is you would take you just take our trust, go down to the bank account, and they're going to change the name of your bank account from yours and your wife's name into the name of your trust.
Oh, okay. So I need to create a trust first, and then I need to go to the bank?
Yes. Yeah. You need to create our documents first before you do anything.
And to create the trust, do I need to make an additional payment, or is it covered under this?
No, it's covered under the $600.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have a will without a trust? Is trust mandatory?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. That's what the $400 package is, just the will.
Mark, maybe you explain like why trust is required for families. What is the
trust is important because you don't want to go through probate. If you own any kind of property, bank account, vacation home, rental properties, you want to put those assets into the trust, because just going through the probate process is thousands and thousands of dollars, even before you hire the attorney.
Mm-hmm. So even though they have a will, so still they need to go through probate court, right?
That's right. A will does not protect you from probate. Only the trust does. Yeah, and for the difference of $400 and $600, $200 to get that revocable probate avoidance trust is the best money you'll ever spend. Trust me.
Yeah. The other question is it all online only, or do we need to get attorney assistance to fill the documents?
No, it's all online. That's why we created this, so you don't have to go talk to an attorney. And the great thing about it, inside the net law plan, even if you do want to talk to an attorney, that option is available. We have a tab called attorneys. You click on that, click on the state that you live in, and an attorney will pop up that you can call and ask any questions to.
But is there an extra charge for that, or?
They probably will charge. That's why it's always important to keep our phone number handy. We don't charge for questions. And we have attorneys right there with us every day.
Okay. So yeah, in case of any assistance needed, they can call to this support number 1-888-604-4789, and
that's right. And we're available 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
yeah. If I just have bank balance and brokerage accounts, does the nominee serve the purpose instead of will?
Are they saying they just have a bank account? Is that what you said?
Yeah. The question is, if I just have bank balance and brokerage accounts like
Yeah.
stocks and other things, so does the nominee serve the purpose instead of a will?
Well, here's what I say, and I have talked to thousands of clients throughout my career, and the one thing that I always bring up to them is right now you may just have a bank account and some brokerage accounts, but does your brother own a house? And if so, who's he leaving it to if he should pass away? Would it come to you if he's not married? You know, what about your parents' house? When they pass away, are you going to get their house? Eventually, as you get older, you're going to acquire more property. It's just the way life works. And then you already have the trust sitting there readily available. But if you think you're never going to acquire any more property, I would probably just stick with the will then. But like I said, for $200 extra to have that trust available for you for the rest of your life, it's well worth it.
You already answered this question. Does the will need to be registered?
Not registered, just printed,
Yeah.
witnessed, and notarized.
A notary can be anyone from a bank or from the.
Yeah. I would go to your home bank. They usually do it for free.
One of the members asking, like, what are the 4 reasons again? Can you explain the 4 reasons?
The 4 reasons why you need estate planning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one here, let me go back to that screen. The first one is who's going to get your assets, right? So if you don't name in your will your specific bequest is where's my assets going? Who's going to receive my assets? So in the will is where you name who gets your assets. If you don't, the state's going to decide. So that's the big one. 2, who's going to take care of your children? Again, if you don't name guardianship for your underage children, the court system's going to come in and decide who's going to raise your children. 3, avoiding probate. We just kind of talked about that and why it's so important. You know, you don't want to have to take time off work to go to the court just to try to avoid probate. And it's going to be expensive. You got to hire an attorney. You got to take time off work. You got to go to court. Nobody wants to go through that. And lastly is your medical decisions, right? Do I want to be kept alive as long as possible, or do I want to just pass naturally? Who's going to make my medical decisions for me if I'm unable to? Who's going to speak on my behalf? This is why we named those decisions. So those are the 4 main reasons that you do estate planning.
Thanks, Mike, for repeating that. Next question is, are revocable living trusts state specific?
Yes, all of our documents are state specific.
Are the rates different for different states?
No. It's $600. That's all 50 states and DC.
Does the coverage also covers 401k? Can they include their 401k information?
You can put your 401k into the trust.
Yeah. After the first year and there is no changes needed for a few more years, do we still need to pay the $600 every year to just maintain? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's $8 a month. You can cancel that at any time. After the first year, you can cancel that. What we do is you can cancel, and if you want to come back, you don't have to buy the plan again. The most you will ever pay is $250 to reopen your account.
Yeah. Also, Kishore, it is not $600 per annum. It is only first time you pay 600, and then yeah, after 12 months, if you have to modify your documents, then you will pay $8 per month.
Correct. Yeah. After the first year, you pay $8 a month to keep the account open and active.
Does having a trust have any tax benefits?
Not this trust. This trust is just to avoid probate. This is not a asset protection trust.
How many of net loss clients are non-US citizens approximately?
We don't know. We don't know. That's not a question that we ask if you're a U.S. citizen or not. So we would not know that.
Yeah. Other member asked like, what's the approximate client size overall?
How many clients do we have total?
Yeah.
Oh God. Huh. Wow, tens of thousands. I really don't know. But we've been around since 2012. So this is our we're getting ready to go into our 8th year of existence.
How government will know about the will and trust if anything happens to parents?
Well, the government won't know if it's in a trust, because anything in a trust is private. So if you just have your stuff in the will, that is public information. But anything in a trust is private. The government still won't know because they don't have a copy. You don't have to file with the government anymore. Your estate planning. You used to a long time ago, but not anymore. Now all that's needed is just the witness and the notary. That's what makes it a legal document. Now, if you go to court for any reason, you're going to have to bring your will and trust, and then the court system's going to see it. But if it's just quick and easy, no one's going to know what's in there.
I think they miss the point of executor having a copy of it. So their question might be like how they can escape the probate court, even though we have will and trust, but government doesn't know about it.
Right. The only way to avoid probate is to have a probate avoidance trust. And then that way they cannot come in and freeze the assets, because remember, the trust owns it, not you. Creditors come in looking for stuff in your name, not in the names of the revocable trust. That's why it's private.
If you put 401k with beneficiary with percentage at employer, and also you include that in will, which one gets higher priority?
Well, 401k usually has a named beneficiary, so you don't have to put that in there because it already has a named beneficiary. It'll be distributed right away. Same with life insurance.
Can a guardian be outside of US? Guardian or executor?
Can it be someone outside the U.S.? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It can. That could cause some complications. If something happens to you and your spouse, you're both in a car wreck, you have a minor child, how fast can that person get over to the U.S. is something you need to think about. So it might, if you're naming the executor or the guardian outside of the U.S., make sure that you're naming an alternate guardian of someone who can come and grab that child quickly, so they don't have to go to, court-assisted facility.
If I have will and trust in US and being single, but my dependents are in India and no one is in US, will the trust still be effective and routed?
Yes. Yeah, it's still protecting your assets.
What is the typical time frame for close the trust after one is dead?
I don't understand the question.
What is the typical time frame to close the trust? If
I guess when you don't need it anymore. Most people keep it open until they pass away. I don't know where that question's going. Are they talking about not paying the $8? I really don't understand what I want to answer the question, but I need more information on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I will unmute that person after all the questions. Traditional will and trust is one-time payment, right? Then why we need to pay it monthly after 1 year?
Because after 1 year, if you don't pay the $8, your account closes and you don't have the ability to go in and make updates. If you don't feel like you need to make updates, then we will cancel the $8 and you have your documents, and hopefully you've stored them in your vault so you can print them off at any time. But you don't have to pay that $8. You can cancel right after the first year. But for $8, to have the ability to go in and change your documents at any time in case something happens, it's well worth it.
What happens when something happens to both the parents? How kids will receive the funds and property, especially when kids are too young?
Mm-hmm. So, if they're over the age of 18, then the funds, like the bank account or life insurance, is distributed to the children. If they're under the age of 18, then the executor works with the guardian, and then the child can get money for education, car repair, home repair, stuff like that. So if they're under the age of 18, the executor and the guardian work together on a plan to make sure that the child has everything that they need from the inheritance.
Who is responsible to transfer the funds and property to kids?
The executor.
Can you please explain options to have asset protection also, and give an example of what asset protection means?
Okay, say that again.
Please explain options to have asset protection also. Give an example of what asset protection means.
Yeah, so asset protection trust is where, let's say, two spouses are married, but there's a prenup. What's his is his, what hers is hers. An asset protection trust would say she can't get into his bank account, or he can't get into her bank account. Or maybe he comes from a really wealthy family and she doesn't. So asset protection would say, hey, whatever we've started together, we'll share. Whatever I had before is mine. That's what an asset protection trust does. But we don't offer that. We only offer the probate avoidance trust.
When we pay $250 to reopen the account to make changes, is it open for 1 more year?
No, it's open for 1 month. Then you start paying the $8 again. That's why it's so valuable to pay the $8, because it's going to take, 2.5 years to get up to $250.
What is the difference between executor versus guardian?
Yeah, the executor is the person who handles everything. They handle final expenses. They make sure that the assets are distributed to the right people. A guardian is just someone who's the kid gonna move into, right? Who's gonna take care of the children? Who's gonna, they're gonna move into whose home, and that person's responsible for education, right? Helping them through life. So who's gonna raise your kids if you pass away? That's a guardian.
If you specify multiple guardians, will there be any problem? Who get priority and what happens if they have a difference of opinion?
Yeah, there's, if you name multiple guardians or multiple families, then they're going to have to agree on how to raise the child. The more people involved, the more problems.
You already answered about the properties in India. Can we include properties in India, real estate or?
Mm-hmm.
And does crypto accounts can be covered under trust?
Yes.
When both parents are expired and minor kids handed over to guardians who are in India, how does the life insurance amount and 401k amount gets transferred?
That'll get transferred through the executor.
If everything is jointly owned between me and my wife, do I still require a will and trust?
Yes. Yeah, because let's say you pass away first. She owns it, but then what happens when she passes away? Got to make sure that the kids are going to get it. Or her sister, or or whoever she's leaving it behind to. We never know who's going to pass first, so both of us need this.
Should the executor and guardian be two different persons?
That's totally up to you. Your decision.
And can trust have multiple executors, backup
Yes.
or different executors for different accounts properties?
Yes.
Somebody want to ask question. Ars iPhone. I unmuted you. You can ask your question. I think his question got answered. Let me unmute everyone in case if anyone is. What happens if the executor themselves pass away?
Then you go into your system and you change the name of your executor. This is why it's important to keep the $8 going, so you have the ability to go in and change that.
Hello.
Yeah, you can ask.
My question was regarding irrevocable trust. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, the irrevocable life insurance trust. That's 750.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's $750, and what it is you usually need a lot of life insurance. I'm thinking probably upwards to 5 to 10 million or more in life insurance for it to pay for itself. And what it does is you put the life insurance policies into this trust, and for the beneficiary, when they receive it, being that it's coming from the trust, it helps them out on taxes a little bit.
So not necessarily the life insurance only, right? I mean, like there is a irrevocable trust which you can't change.
Right.
So just want to know your opinion on, obviously there are pros and cons, but like from between revocable trust and irrevocable trust, how does your software, guide us? What are the benefits and
yeah, this is
other than you cannot make a change. I mean, like that part is covered in the name itself.
That's right.
But other than that, what are other pros and cons?
Right. Yeah, great question. So, and remember, this is only for life insurance. The only irrevocable document that we have is the life insurance trust. And I'll be honest with you, I personally am not a big fan of it because it is irrevocable. So once you make that decision, you can't go back and change it because it's irrevocable. I am not a big fan of it.
Understood. So your software only covers the life insurance, but doesn't cover the irrevocable in general.
That's right. Yeah. All of our other documents are revocable. So you can change those anytime. This is the only one. That's why I'm not a big fan of it. And, I've probably only sold, me personally, probably 2. I usually try to talk people out of it personally.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Any other
Do,
questions?
do we need any letter from them stating they agree to be executors?
No. No, you can name whoever you want as long as they're over the age of 18.
Yeah, I think we are done with all the questions, Mark.
Okay, great. That was a lot of questions. This was a very good webinar.
Yeah, yeah. We got great audience and great members. So, what are the next steps? So yeah, as Mark mentioned, we have this offer, a great offer going on in December month. So yeah, you can contact me on 832-867-8808. I will share all the details. I will share the video recording of this one. And within your friends or relatives, educate them about the importance of will and trust, because we see a lot of GoFundMe links every day, right? We can never expect what will happen to anyone. So it is our responsibility to explain the importance of will and trust to each and everyone in US, right? Because everybody thinks that everything works in the same way, like as in India, but here the entire law is different. So yeah, it is our responsibility to bring this awareness. So yeah, you can reach me and I can share the details. I can share the link, and also in case if some of you need some the other party, right? Because I can connect you. Some of them may not have friends or relatives who are ready to take a will and trust. They might be still thinking whether it is important or not. So you can reach me and I can connect you with one more family who are also equally interested to get their will and trust done, right? So again, if you are in group or you all know my phone number, I repeat it, 832-867-8808. And yeah, I will send you the links which you need to click on and register for your will and trust. Yeah, Mark already answered the question. Can we have other country citizen as an executor? Yeah, you can. There is no restriction on that. But again, you have to think about a situation where, in case if they are required, whether they are in a position to travel or not, right? Whether they have the visa, such type of things or not. So, in case if you don't have any relative or a close friend, then you can go ahead with that option. But preference is if you have somebody in the same city, otherwise in the same state, if not in US, if not, then yeah, you can get someone you can define as executor from a other country. You can have multiple executors. Any other questions before we end the call? Yeah, there is one more question, Mark. Yeah, 1+60. I unmuted OnePlus. Whoever is using OnePlus phone, I unmuted you.
Yeah, it's me, Bal Kazani. Okay, my question is, do you need a written consent from the executor that you want to assign? You know, that hey, this is going to be my executor. So, do you need a written consent from him?
No, we don't need any kind of consent from him, but you know, you're always going to want to tell that person so that they're prepared, but you know, and they're not surprised on the day that you die that now they're in charge of everything.
Okay, all right. So just get a verbal consent, you know, that he's
Yeah,
okay
just
with
let them
that.
know that that's a very powerful pick. You know, it's somebody that you really trust, and just let them know, hey, I trust you. When we pass away, I want you to have this job.
Okay, great, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Jupudi Garu, I unmuted you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Hey, just one more question. So, do you have any examples we can see before we start actually preparing this one on your side?
I do have a video that I created that kind of walks you through how to complete your documents. And what I'll do is I'll email that to Kishore, and then if you can just follow up with him, he'll forward it out to anybody who needs it.
Okay, great. Typically, how long it takes once I start filling the documents? Does it take a couple of days or weeks?
Oh, no. It takes about half hour to 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then, you touched a little bit on that irrevocable trust.
Yeah.
Irrevocable trust is only for life insurance, or what exactly it will give me if I have irrevocable trust?
Yeah, that's all it's for, is to put your life insurance policies into that trust.
So that means if I don't use irrevocable trust, I can't put life insurance policy into the revocable trust?
No, you can. You really don't need to, because it already has a named beneficiary on it.
Okay.
But if you want to, you can put that into your trust. Absolutely. Your revocable trust.
So then what is the benefit of putting the life insurance in an irrevocable trust?
The only advantage is it helps out on taxes for the beneficiary.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Good question.
Yeah, there are no more questions, Mark. So thanks again, Mark, for taking time.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate everybody's attentiveness and a lot of great questions.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.